to announce the renewal of one of the great rivalries in this college basketball hotbed. I'm Brooks Downing, President and CEO of BDG Sports, based down in Lexington. We'll be your event operator. I've had the pleasure of working with both of these gentlemen here throughout the years on numerous events, so welcome back, guys. It was 2010 since these teams last met on the hardwood, and today I'm joined by Anthony Grant and Wes Miller to announce that the Cincinnati-Dayton rivalry will be relaunched here at the Heritage Bank Center on December 16, 2023. This venue, which is undergoing several renovations, including all new seating, will be split at half court. Dayton fans on one end, Cincinnati fans on the other, in a true split the house setup. Ticket pre-sales will start at both schools tomorrow, followed by general public sales beginning 1 week from today at heritagebankcenter.com, ticketmaster.com, or the Ticketmaster app. Some great storylines surround this game. This is the third longest series in program history for both schools. For the Bearcats, in just his second season, Coach Wes Miller led UC to a 23-win season and a berth in the NIT last year. Now he prepares his team for its first appearance this season as a new member of the Big 12 Conference. Exciting times over at UC. Anthony Grant begins his seventh season at Dayton, and last season led the Flyers to a second place finish in the A10 and a runner-up spot in the league tournament. UD returns junior forward Duron Holmes II, who is a two-time All-A10 pick and last year's conference tournament most outstanding player. Now let's hear from our two distinguished guests. First, Coach Miller, tell us your thoughts on the renewed rivalry.
Well, I think we're in a part of the country that's rich in college basketball tradition. Certainly, I've talked about this for 2 years. It's one of the things that I love about coaching basketball at Cincinnati is the pride and the passion of our fan base. People love college basketball, but there's other institutions in this area, you know, that have similar fan bases and similar passion for our game. And when you can put those two of those programs together, it's a special thing in non-conference play. And certainly we get that every year with the Crosstown Shootout. But I didn't realize when I moved to Cincinnati how close Dayton was. And I think we're within an hour, and sometimes it feels like with all the suburbs that the two cities are almost connected. Very well aware of just the tradition of Dayton basketball and the fan support, and then learning more about, you know, the history of the two programs playing against each other. I think it'll be great for the city of Cincinnati, for our program to play a high-profile game against a great program, great coach here in Cincinnati in a neutral environment. And again, as close as Dayton is, it'll be neat to have, as you mentioned, Brooks, two fan bases in a true neutral environment in the same arena. That doesn't happen a whole lot anymore in college basketball.
Coach Grant, same question to you. What's it mean to have UC back on the schedule?
Well, I think I would echo, Wes's comments. I think, first and foremost, you're looking at two very tradition-rich programs. I'm fortunate that, I played at Dayton, and I can remember during my time at Dayton playing against UC and that rivalry and the history, and I think you've got two of the elite fan bases in the country. I know in a non-conference game to get this quality of an opponent on our schedule is a great opportunity for our guys, and I know our guys are excited about it. We're looking forward to it, and I know the fan bases are really excited about the opportunity to renew the rivalry, so I think we're all looking forward to it.
One more question for you guys, and we'll open it up to the media. Coach Miller, tell us about your expectations for the upcoming season.
Well, it's a lot of movement for UC athletics, certainly for our program moving into the Big 12. It's been, no matter which way you look at it, it's been the best basketball conference in America for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. We've known about it now for over a year, so we've been preparing for that move, for that challenge. We're excited about it, and the expectation always when you coach at Cincinnati is you have a team that competes nationally with with everybody in college basketball, that you have a team that represents Cincinnati in the NCAA tournament, and now a team that can compete in the Big 12. So that's the expectation, and you take a job like UC, you know that walking through the door. We're not spending a lot of time day to day worried about results right now. We're spending a lot of time worried about getting better every day, having a productive summer, and doing the right things. So that's my expectation right now, is that we get better in practice and we take the floor later today, that we put a day together that results in a week, so we can look back and say that we had a really good summer here when our summer session ends in a couple weeks. But yeah, there's major expectations. We like that. There's high stakes. We're in a big time conference now, so we're really looking forward to this year.
Coach Grant, same thing. You've got a good core coming back. What's your expectations for the coming season?
Well, I think for us, we've got a lot of new pieces that we're trying to integrate to our team. We've got most of our guys on campus right now, most of them available to us. We've got a foreign tour that we're getting ready for here in a couple of weeks. So I think for me, it's about learning our team, having them learn us, terminology, just how we play, the standards, the expectations, and those things. But I'm excited about the group. I think we've got a really good group of guys. They get along really well. I think they like to compete. So we're excited about the potential that we have.
Great. We'll turn it open to the floor. I've got Andre Fouché, who'll be our media relations director and tournament director for this event. He's got the mic, so just state your name and affiliation. Ask your question.
Keegan Nixon with Bearcat Journal. Wes, which side kind of initiated these talks in this renewed rivalry?
You said, which side?
Yeah, which side? Which team, which administration kind of initiated the talks?
Honestly, I'm not quite sure. I think athletic directors, we're talking about this for a while, and I know communicating directly with Anthony and I have not talked about the game directly probably until today. But it's something that I've supported from the moment that I heard it, because as Anthony mentioned, you're looking for high-level non-conference games that will help prepare you for league play, that will help prepare you to be an NCAA tournament team. We're looking for those opportunities in non-league, and playing Dayton certainly gives us that opportunity. And then you also kind of check a box of playing in a big-time college basketball environment, and playing against a local program with a ton of history and tradition. So on a lot of levels, the game makes sense.
Hi, Wes. Ron Roberts with Orange Bid. You added 6 new additions over the off season. What are some of the challenges with those additions, and how does a game like this help prepare you for conference play?
What are the challenges with the additions? That's becoming more of a normal thing in college basketball. To have, I think we have 6, as you say 6, I believe we have 7 newcomers. 7 newcomers is probably about average over the last couple of years. But it's just really important to start to learn each other this time of year as quickly as possible. So we have, like the summer, the time we have on the floor, the time we have together as a group off the floor in the weight room, that time is really valuable in the summer, because the sooner that we can get to know each other, build some real genuine relationships, start learning how to work together, that's going to help us to assimilate as we get into the season. And then, as you mentioned, you got to go through some things in the non-conference to get ready for league play, especially when you have new bodies and new faces. So playing some really difficult games and being tested early in the year, that's going to help any team, but it's certainly going to help a team where there's some new faces around.
Neil Meyer with the Front Office News. Wes, you mentioned the Midwest basketball style here in this area between schools like Xavier, Dayton, and yourself. Just talk about how exciting it is for the city of Cincinnati not only to play 2 predominant programs like Xavier and Dayton here this upcoming season, and one especially being here on a neutral site.
Yeah, well, always said this. It's every game to a coach or to a player matters. I mean, we're all really competitive, and We all really care about winning, but there's something that matters a little different when it's local and fan bases are engaged. You know, those are the kind of environments we all love to play in as players. We certainly enjoy coaching in, and so in this area, there's opportunities for that, and we're always going to seek out those opportunities because those are the types of environments that add to a college basketball season. And I think our kids want to play in those environments. I think kids we're recruiting want to play in those environments, and playing against a program like Dayton and Anthony's team, that's exciting. Like our guys watched Obi Toppin, and you know, they paid attention. So it's exciting. It's positive, and we'll continue to seek out local games moving forward.
David Jablonski, Dayton Daily News. For both of you, how did you decide to play this on a neutral court as opposed to a home and home?
Well, I think as Wes mentioned, I think the administration of both universities got together and looked at a way to renew the rivalry, and trying to decide where the best place was for it. This facility obviously is a neutral site that was available, and we felt like accessible to both fan bases. So I think it just made sense to do it here.
Scott Springer, Cincinnati Enquirer. Coach, did you ever play Dayton before at any of your previous stops, and what's your knowledge of the Flyers? I mean, normally they have a pretty good fan base. That's how they got the first four and all that stuff.
No, I've never coached or played against Dayton. I played in Dayton's arena in 2006 in the NCAA tournament as a player. We lost to George Mason second round, so I don't want to ever play there again. Joking, but no, I've never coached or played a game against Dayton, but I just followed Dayton's program for years and have tremendous respect for the history of the program and then for the job that Anthony's done and some of the teams that he's had here over the last couple of years.
Katie Capusto with Spectrum News. Coach Grant, this is the second game announced this preseason against a team here in Ohio. Can you talk a little bit about the importance about playing these in-state opponents?
Yeah, I think you've got such tradition-rich programs here in the state. A lot of history of success. Between I think just in this region. As Wes mentioned, in the Midwest, you've got so many great basketball programs and such great fan bases that it just makes sense. That if you get a chance to get your teams together, and it makes sense for both teams that you do it. So we're excited, for the opportunities that we have in front of us.
Coach, there's 7 guys on your roster on the website. I'm going to assume you're going to have more than 7 when you come December 16th.
Yeah, I think we've updated the website, if I'm not mistaken. I think we've got a pretty current roster. As Wes mentioned, you've got I think the normal activity right now for college basketball is just there's fluctuation in your roster. So I think we've been able to put together a group of guys that will be competitive, that are excited to play with each other, and looking forward to get prepared for the upcoming season.
Coach Grant, obviously with the second-year option for this matchup, is there interest?
I'm sorry, say that again.
The second-year option for the matchup for next season
Yeah.
in 2024. Do you think there's interest on both sides that this could turn back into a consistent annual rivalry?
Well, I don't think we've had that conversation as of yet, so I'd be making something up if I were to respond to that. I really, we're looking forward to this opportunity in front of us, and then we'll see what happens from there.
I'll add too that in talking to the administrators and the ADs, when it came to the second year, just because of the fluctuation of college basketball, obviously UC going into Big 12, just the normal churn that's happening right now, it's the option's there, but no commitment yet.
There's not been a game here in some time. Will there be a new floor? Is there a floor here, or who makes the floor? Or will it be decorated with this logo and all that stuff?
As a matter of fact, that's a great question. They do have a floor. We're going to bring in a new floor for this game, new floor and goals for the setup. So it'll look pretty sharp. They've got new seating going in, as you can step out and check out after the press conference. So some renovations are underway. They've got a lot more plans for other renovations, but we'll take care of the playing surface, and it'll be top notch with the logos, etc. Any other questions for the coaches? All right, well, again, thank you both coaches for taking